So this was right before rap music really hit hard on radio stations. So this was college radio time. You still had Video Soul, you still had Rap City, you still had Yo MTV Raps. So they were getting play. They just were not getting major radio play at the time. But when this hit on college radio, it hit hard. And it was killing it. So these cats began to get a buzz because they had the nice R&B crooning, the raspy voice of SKRATCH. And the beat was just hypnotic. It was dope as hell. So enters the era of illalskratch. Creep With Me, 1994, Mercury Records. And when I tell you that thing was smoking, it was smoking. And it was exceptional for the time. It was just very catchy. And the shit was dope. Of course, Big Ill the Mac, Brooklyn, stand up. He was down with a crew called the Wise Guys. And he was also down with the LA Posse, the same LA Posse cats that produced for LL Cool J later on. He was down with them spitting verses, and shout out to Lady of Rage, she was as well. SKRATCH came from a crew out of Harlem called the Partyposse. This was on Jive Records. I want to say this was like 1989 or something like that. Had, and excuse me if I pronounce it the wrong way, but Lavaba Mallison is who they were down with at the time, the same cat that was down with Kumo D. So I don't know if it's Lavaba or Lavaba Mallison. But respect to you, my brother, you've been on the scene for a long time. And the Partyposse was down with him, so I'm sure it was some kind of Harlem connection that was going on. Their producer, Easy Mo Bee's little brother. And if you know Easy Mo Bee, he has produced for Miles Davis, he's produced for Tupac, he's produced for Biggie, he's produced for Craig Mack, and so many others. Big Daddy Kane, of course, prolific producer. But this is his younger brother, so he produced for the likes of Brand Nubian, Big Daddy Kane as well, Sister Soldier. And I would implore you, if you have the access, the Coffee House remix of Coming Off by Hurricane, that shit is a smoker. But nevertheless, were my homies, that shit just jumped them off mad right. And of course, I don't think they got much, but they are well deserving of a goddamn award. Stand up. Singles were Where's My Homie? And of course, Brian McKnight. Yeah, the other joint you hear coming in. Yeah. So they were label mates at the time. So I think that's what happened. Was, it was a Mercury connection or something like that. But I'll Take Her was smoking too, so that was a wonderful follow-up, being that it had that R&B groove to it. But also favorites, both singles, like I say, With My Homies and I'll Take Her, nice as hell. Chill With That was dope. Creep With Me, Get Dough, classic shit, Summertime, just that was a very nice summer banker, as a matter of fact, for illalskratch. They came on the scene hitting real hard. Notables and oddities for me is once they went into that next project of Keep It Coming, it's like, yo, who fucked up the recipe? It was very low. It just seemed like there was no marketing behind it. I couldn't even tell you what the single was. I think the single was right off. I cannot remember. I think it was the same track that was on the New Jersey Drive soundtrack, though. But regardless, for for some of us not to know. I don't think they pushed it that hard, but it also smelled like the chemistry had changed somehow. So I don't know if it was the label with a limited budget, even though, and again, they were killing it. This was right before radio popped off with playing all the commercial rap. Was it a beef with their producer? Even though he did produce some of this project, it just seemed like things were just a little bit different. I can't put my finger on it. Did somebody get the big head? Did they start fronting with the egos? Did they start smelling themselves too early? Because sonically, those are two different projects altogether. And again, I must say, in their defense, this was right before every region had a rap station. This was just before. It seemed to me like when 95 and 96 hit, everybody throughout the country started popping up with rap stations, and they haven't stopped since, regretfully. But this was One Smoke a Creep with Me was just simply phenomenal. So please listen to that one. And that was a major at the time. My apologies to Big Ill the Mac. I could not find anything of you on social media, so perhaps you may be going under another name. But I would implore the rest of you listening, please. illalskratch.com is how he can be followed, and he does have some new stuff out as well. Under Instagram, illalskratch. Under Facebook, The Real illalskratch. And under Twitter / that X thing, illalskratch. Again, they were vibing. Back then they were doing their thing, and Al is still doing his thing. And I want to say Big Ill is trying to still do something as well. But nevertheless, even though they did not come back hard, sonically, we can still appreciate what they put out then, and we have that to cherish forever. This was another dope-ass moment in time.